We are just 7 weeks out from the Chicago Marathon, one of the largest marathons happening in the US and considered one of the major marathons, along with London, Tokyo, Berlin, New York, and Boston. And I am participating in the marathon this year. Chicago is actually my fifth marathon I ever ran. The first marathon I ran was in Grand Rapids of 2023, where I ran a 3:50 then. And since then, I have actually participated in a marathon every 6 months. So every spring and every fall, I've run a marathon. And my most recent marathon happened in April 2025 down in St. Louis, where I ran a 3:04. And going into Chicago, I thought it would be useful to document some of my training, things I'm going through, since unlike a lot of other people on YouTube, I'm not a professional runner. I used to be 315 pounds back in 2020, and I've lost over 100 pounds since then. And I've picked up running along the way that helped me become a lot healthier. And on that healthy journey, on that active journey, I picked up running. And along that running, I started doing marathons. So coming from a previous left tackle as a lineman in American football, I was the last person to ever pick up running. And so it's been a long journey of learning about how my relationship with running evolves. It used to be something I despised to something now I look forward to every day. And I'm hoping some of my running experiences are relatable to you and be able to help you in your running journey too, or your fitness journey or active journey, wherever you are along that bell curve. So, 7 weeks out, what have I done? So this past week, I ran 51 miles. Going into the Chicago block, I actually picked up a new training plan. For the first three marathons, I followed the Hal Higdon plan. And for St. Louis and Chicago, I picked up a more aggressive plan. A plan that ideally will peak you at 72 miles per week, which I believe is around 110 kilometers per week. But I've picked up this because of wanting to increase the mileage, and that has come to a interesting crossroad for me. Since I've been increasing mileage and trying to improve my time probably a bit more quickly than one should, I ran a 350, then went to 324, then 314 to 304, and then going in Chicago. And say if I run 3 hours in Chicago, that is a 50-minute improvement over 2 years, and that's come from just regularly running, but then also trying to increase my mileage. And something I learned in St. Louis was increasing the mileage peak from 50 to 72 increased the toll on my body tenfold. And I really struggled staying with that plan going into April. I experienced some knee and ankle issues because of that. And so I'm following the same plan going to Chicago, but I've decided to tone down some more of the speed days so I can do more easy mileage during the week to just get acclimated to running that much. And so my goal for Chicago right now isn't a time. I just want to be able to complete the mileage. I want to get my body continue to get used to running 50 miles regularly, 60 miles regularly, and be able to peak at 70 miles and be able to enjoy Chicago as an experience. I've heard so many great things about Chicago, the culture there, the experience, being able to participate in such a large event, that I'm going into Chicago to enjoy it. Why do you run, or why are you active? Hopefully, one of the top reasons why you say why you are active is you love it. You find enjoyment. You get into the flow mindset. You get maybe what's called, for runners, a runner's high. You might get lightheaded and think, oh, I'm having so much fun, and time just flies by. Hopefully, that's the reason why you're active. That's the reason why you're being healthy, or you're on that journey to try to reach that destination. And that's something I've been dealing with, especially from the St. Louis in the spring, was I was really trying to grind, really trying to push through it, and I lost that enjoyment. And so going to Chicago, I really want to rediscover that enjoyment, which really reflected my training for this week. So this week I ran 51 miles, most of it easy. It was a down week for mileage. I haven't adhered to the plan day by day. I have missed some workouts just because I'm trying to find that balance of being able to train for a marathon, but also be able to be present with my friends and my family. So the 51 miles ran last week accumulated with 16 miles of a long run. And something I've actually noticed was now I respond to the long runs a lot better than I used to. When I actually picked up marathon training for the first 2 to 3 marathons after my long runs, I would often be exhausted. I would be on the couch for the rest of the day, needing my body to recover. And I ran 16 miles on my easy pace, and I felt okay. Yes, my legs were sore, of course, and thought, oh man, I wouldn't want to run even more, but I was still present in my life. I wasn't on a couch potato. I could respond, I could talk to people. I was like, oh, we want to go out somewhere? Sure, I can go walk around, of course. Am I sore? Yes, but can I do things and not just regret it or oh I don't want to? Yes. And so I would argue that change and being able to sustain a lot of the mileage a lot easier is more important than the times you are running. If you are able to safely to increase mileage over time and be able to handle that running economy, that is something that's so important. Yes, if you run 10, 15 seconds slower, that's okay because I'm going to be able to enter in this next week of training, which we're going to be ramping up again and run a 20 miler next week a lot easier and a lot more fresh. And so that's something I'm coming out of this recent week is I feel good. I feel fresh. I'm not sure if I'm going to be running a PR in Chicago, but even if I don't, I'm having enjoyment again. And I feel like I'm in a better place mentally going into Chicago than I was with St. Louis, where I ran a 304. Could that mean I run 10, 15 minutes slower and enjoy everything around me? I would totally be okay with that. And I think that's also the mindset we need to have is why are you active? Are you doing it for the end goal or are you enjoying the journey? And so this weekly series is going to be talking about the journey I'm experiencing right in this moment. Am I having some highs? Am I having some lows? Am I having some regrets? What's going through my mind? Because I know that if you are doing something similar, if you are placing a challenging goal out for you, you experience this too. Littered on YouTube are wonderful athletes who are able to accomplish times that I don't think I can, especially coming from my background as a former 315-pound lineman in football to where I am today. I don't have the body type for a lot of these things. And so, will I be able to accomplish it? I don't know. I doubt it, but I know that I am enjoying the journey. And there are plenty more people like us who might place ourselves the challenges that say, hey, I want to run a 10K. I want to run a half marathon. Hey, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Not, hey, I want to go to the Olympics. I want to go run a sub 230 marathon. I want to go bench 600 pounds. There's a lot more people like, I would say, you and me. And hopefully you get some value of you're not alone when you go through these struggles. I've had some personally very high highs in my running. I've had some very low lows. I've had moments where my ankle would swell up on the runs and I had to just walk back last 8 miles. It just took several hours because it had to happen. And I didn't listen to myself. I disregarded the warning signs and I paid for it. Well, thanks for stopping by. And I hope you check out next week's video for how the Chicago Marathon training is going, what I'm experiencing, and what are some of the challenges I'm going through, what are some benefits I'm going through, and be able to hopefully help you in your own journey that you're experiencing right now.